And with a crescendo, we usher in another afternoon session, and we've just completed the network switch, and we're ready to go. This is vk3sl test missions on 160 and on UHF. So, yes, we've been hearing the Country Hour. It's good to hear some country songs, country music from outback Queensland. And, all that yodeling, it really hits the spot. Well, I'm going to put on some yodeling of a different kind. We go back about 4 decades. Well, and this time about 8 decades. And we'll hear the music of Paul Whiteman and I Miss My Swiss.
She must eat. I miss my Swiss Mrs. B.
It's over-processed. He ruined that record. And now that's Mr. 240252, whose transfers are usually really good. And I think it must be one of his very first. Now, I do have the original 78 of that here somewhere. I should have dug it up. Anyhow, you got some impression, but I have to ameliorate things, folks. I can't cope with that level of suppressed noise reduction and just muffle missions on a 78. They just can't sound like that. What we'll do is we'll have something from the same year, 1926. This instance, it's Jack Crawford's band and a track off an original record called Beautiful. This is VK3SL testing. And we are almost ready. I'm not really winning here. It's gone from muffle missions to sandblast missions. That record really needs to be thrown in the bin. It is not presentable. What to do? Well, we can move into the Prozoot zone because he has just put up some recordings of George Olsen and his music, and I can guarantee his transfers will certainly tick the box. Recordings
Prozoot will not let you down.
Yes, that's right. So let's have a listen to George Olsen and Gus Arnheim and vocals by Fred McMurray. Recordings from 1929. About 10 minutes worth, and then we'll be ready to go. I'll have it all out of my system by then.
broker, find out what he can do, 'cause I'm in the market for you. There won't be any joker with margin, I'm all through, 'cause I want you outright, it's true. You're going up, up, up in my estimation. I want 1,000 shares of your caresses too. We'll count the hugs and kisses when dividends are due, 'cause I'm in the market for you. Just one girl, but I have to have one girl. I could really use more, even 3 or 4, but one is enough. All I want is just one moon, though there only is one moon. That is plenty for me, just as long as he is doing his stuff. All I want is just one word, that little word, yes, from a certain sweet someone I'm going to press to my heart. All I want is just one kiss, and I have to have one kiss. Yes, all I want is one, all I want is one for a start.
And we just heard the music of Gus Anaheim and the band, and earlier George Olsen featuring Fred McMurray. And the sound, I felt like the band was in the room. His transfers just have some really intrinsic something that draws me in. And that's only been put up about an hour ago, that recording. So it's hot off the press, and we did have to ameliorate things because we had some bad transfers at the start, and we had to find a pathway out of the wilderness. So there we go.
I enjoyed the yodeling.
Miss my Swiss Miss. I remember getting that 78. It's on a Zonophone, and I remember picking it up when I was about 9 or 10 years of age. And I was very perplexed by the yodeling. I always thought,
like a good yodel.
Yeah, well, it's a Swiss yodel, not a country yodel. So, but it's sort of similar, isn't it? Yeah, it's I don't know, it's style.
Who's that Australian woman called Snyder is her last name?
Oh, Schneider.
Susan Snyder or Mary Snyder. I think it's Mary.
Okay. I don't
She
know.
is one of the world's best female yodelers.
Really? Okay. Oh, I really don't know. To be honest, I really don't know much about yodeling.
Okay. I don't know much about her either, but I have heard her.
Yeah, right.
She's
Okay.
quite remarkable.
Oh, very good. Well, I may be persuaded. Well, we'll see if we can find out something about Snyder.
I'll do some research.
Yes, be the brains trust. Do the research and feed us the material, and I'll hold my breath and have a good scotch, and then kick back and.
She's so adept at yodeling that it sort of transcends the normal drawbacks of the yodel.
Okay, right. Well, that sounds very intriguing, Frank. So, you've got me wondering. All right, but yeah, it's the style, and it must obviously came from Europe, I guess.
Oh yeah, Switzerland and all that.
Yeah,
The
Switzerland.
high mountains.
Yeah, there are a few yodeling 20s records I can recall, and yeah, I think Where Is My Maya is another one about the Swiss mountain climber, and I think that's got a yodeling chorus in it as well. I got that 78 here too somewhere. But yeah, never the mind. We almost made it on. We did make it on this morning, Frank.
Well, we sort of did. I'm sorry about the problems.
No, look, it was good. I could hear you really well. There's no problem at all here. But I think further afield they were struggling a bit, but the carrier was holding up well. So
Yeah, the antenna arrangement worked fine.
yeah, for those unacquainted, yeah, Frank came up on the coffee break for the first time in a while, and but we're almost there. It's just getting the, I suppose it's just modulation depth, isn't it, or something? Yeah, maybe a bit more power. I think the thing with rice boxes is as you could turn up the modulation up, it tends to turn into sideband a bit.
Yeah, I've got to do a bit more testing at home. Rather, before I get some external help, I want to do some work here.
Sure. Yeah. I think typically a lot of the rice box sets have to be set on about 20 to 30 watts of carrier, and
Yeah,
then
well, that's where I think I've gone wrong.
yeah, right. Yeah, so I've had that issue before. Some of them, the carrier comes up really well. You can seemingly put out 100 watts, but of course it's all sort of suppressed and distorted, and it doesn't.
Exactly.
And you really don't get any audio at all. And it might have been what was happening, but it's finding the sweet spot and just getting a happy medium there. And that's something I've learnt through lots of trial and error and lots of patience I may have from
I think
from
so.
friends.
But I can monitor it at home.
Yeah, sure.
And, once I've got it to a point where I think it might be acceptable, I'll give you a call if that's
Yeah, please. You're very welcome. I mean, look, it actually sounded fine. It was actually very fine and excellent audio, no problems at all. But I think geographically we're very close, so I think that could be expected. But further afield, it just wasn't quite holding up. But yeah, but anyhow, it's all work in progress, and we look forward to the day when it's all comes together, all the planets align. It'll be great.
That's right.
Yeah, it'll be great. No, it's good to hear, and
I'm keen to do it.
yeah, absolutely. No, it'll be good, really good. So yeah, so that's yes, and well, we had a good missions last night. I was quite. You really got me inspired with Coleman Hawkins, and I lay in bed this morning and listened to that interview with him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I indulged. I listened to most of it. This is the last bit I had to get up, but yeah.
It's pretty revealing, isn't it?
It is. It's really interesting. I'll refer people to that. It's an interview with Coleman Hawkins, and it's actually was issued on two LPs in the 1960s, and they're all up on YouTube. And it's a very sort of humble, heartfelt reflection on music in the 20s and 30s, the bit I heard. I mean, wow. It's he talks about the other performers he worked with, and he gives a very straightforward sort of, insight into the way that things worked. and the way that the ensembles worked,
Oh, yeah.
and his working relationship with other people. But look, I'll let people explore it at their whim if they feel inclined. It's certainly recommend it though. It's really good, and the material. Wow, he's such a lyricist. I love any instrumental player who sort of adopts a vocal approach to their instrumental craft. For me, that's the thing.
That's right.
That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I think every instrument Yeah, go on.
I'll have to show you a good alto player who does that now.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, I'll stand at attention and wait. I'm.
There are quite a few.
Yeah.
But I particularly like Paul Desmond.
Oh, okay. Paul Desmond, name's on the list, and I'll look him up. It's you get a lot of fragmented jazz players. They sort of play sort of quasi phrases, or they're sort of just sort of spasms, really, and that's all okay. But I find that I like to listen to a phrase that has structure, has a beginning and an end, and a middle, and sort of is the equivalent to a sentence, I suppose.
And taking it further, that each phrase connects up with another one.
Yeah, that's it. And it sort of becomes very conversational then. And no, I like music that sort of equates dialogue. So that's...
Paul Desmond's pretty good.
Yeah, good. All right. I've written his name down. I'll look out for him. Could be... So he's a jazz player?
He's best known for his work with the Dave Brubeck Quartet.
Oh, really? Okay. Very good. Well, I'm aware of the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Is he the sax player in Take 5?
Yep.
Oh, very good. I know that recording very well. Another one is Blue Rondo a la Turk.
Yes, that's right.
That used to drive my mother mad.
I could see it could do that.
Yes. It sort of had I think it's in 7/8 time.
It is.
And so it's very asymmetric, and it sort of just keeps going on and on and on. It's like a little bit like a sewing machine. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Blue Rondo a la Turk.
Oral torture on record.
Yeah. So I've got the 45 here. Maybe I'll dig it up soon.
It's very kind of unsettling unless you actually count it and go with it.
Yes, that's right. I find that I subdivide that piece. Even when I was young, I used to subdivide it in my mind.
You want to do 3 and 4 or 4 and 3.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
I think so. Because otherwise it becomes really...
Trying to count up to 7.
I know, exactly. I find I'm tripping over myself. It's very clever because it really has momentum, yet it's asymmetric. So it plays around with our expectations of time, which is always an interesting thing.
Yeah, that time further out were interesting recordings.
Yeah. So I didn't realise he was with the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Very good. Did he stay with them?
He's done a lot of other work as well.
Okay. Was he with them right through? I mean, Dave Brubeck only died about a decade ago, didn't he?
Oh, yes. Brubeck was a milestone, really.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, good stuff. Well, we can have a look here at the pile. Got a couple of piles which I've been uncovering as we go, and there's a few things. Well, I found a recording of Ray Noble and his orchestra from the 30s, so maybe we'll stick in the sort of dance band thing for a bit.
Al Bowley vocalising?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't say vocal refrain, and I think it's going to be one of those sort of upbeat presentations. So it's two sides. It's Japanese Sandman and Tiger Rag. What do you reckon, Frank?
That's good.
Which do you think?
Tiger Rag.
Tiger Rag. We'll give it a whirl. So Ray Noble and the band. It looks like it's in reasonable condition, which is extremely rare for here. Most records are not in reasonable condition, but I think this one is. Let's have a listen. Well, it's a testimony to how good a 78 can sound when it's in good condition and it's on laminated pressing.
That's it.
Yeah, that recording, direct off the disc, is from 1933, Ray Noble and the band, and their rendition of Tiger X. And great driving string bass. I think the string bass really makes any ensemble really is has great advantage using a string bass rather than a brass bass. I think I like the sort of the colour, the edge of the sound. So
What exactly are the differences?
well, brass bass is a tuba or a
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was imagining some sort of string bass made of brass.
yeah no.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. No, just a double bass, and but
No, I couldn't agree more. You need the thump.
you do. It's that sort of slap string effect. It adds percussion, adds edge, and there's a grain to the sound. The other instrument that works really well as a bass instrument from this era is the bass saxophone.
Oh, yeah, with a real nice growl in it.
That has a real sort of core to the sound, has some grit. And Adrian Rollini, of course, was the bass saxophone player supreme from that era. And he was amazing. He made lots of records.
I didn't know his name.
Yeah, you hear him on just about every recording. He was such. In fact, he's probably one of the most recorded instrumentalists of his era in the popular sphere. Anyhow, being a member of just about every ensemble, he was such demand. He played on the edge of the beat, and he just had that great way of interacting with musicians. He was a very collaborative performer. Mr. Rollini. We'll have to do a program on Adrian Rollini because there's so much material. I'll find the best of. But anyhow, the string bass cuts it just as well. And look, I'm inspired. I want to hear the other side. I think we'll have a listen to Japanese Sandman.
Good.
And these Australian laminated pressings, if they're in good condition, they are so quiet and they sound amazing. So it's nice to find a rare example of a disc in reasonable condition in this collection. So let's go. Let's have a listen to Japanese Sandman. And this is vk3sl and vk3jr. Test missions. Noble and the Band from 1933. And Japanese Sandman. I thought they was a very restrained performance, I thought, of that work. Famous piece, and I can't remember who originally recorded Japanese Sandman. It's one of those evergreen pieces that's always been out there, really. But yeah, test missions on 160 and also on UHF, and this is vk3sl. And
vk3sl.
yeah, and we're working, just sort of sifting through 78s. That's the name of the game. It's all very serendipitous, no themes, nothing predetermined. We sort of have more of an organised session on Fridays, but late night Fridays. But in this instance, it's just walk in, grab a stack of records, and see what's there. Now, another find from this pile was a Japanese record. And it's a Japanese Nippon Columbia.
Oh.
Yeah, and I didn't really know what was on it. It's all in Japanese. And I nearly flipped when I put it on because it's a record that's very well known to one listener in particular, namely Mr. Stew. And we did some tests using this record some time ago. In fact, there's an Australian pressing of it that we use for those tests. They're cartridge tests. But lo and behold, have a listen to this. It's Joe Daniel and his Hot Shots in Drumnastics and in the shade of the old apple tree.
Okay.
Joe Daniels and his Hot Shots in Drumnastics from, I think, 1935, if I remember correctly. It's on a Japanese Victor. Interesting. So quite a discovery. I've had no idea that record was issued to the to the Japanese market, but there we go.
Yeah.
all is revealed. Now, Joe Daniels kept going. He was still playing right up in the 80s and early 90s, and I think he was actually playing in London when I was in London in 1990, and I wish I'd gone and heard him, because he had a band at the Savoy Hotel. So, yeah, anyhow, he had a long and distinguished career, because he's another artist who started off in the early 1920s.
Wow.
And had a very long career as a drummer. And there we heard him, and he's doing all these hot shots and tricks there.
He's lived to a great age.
Yeah, Mr. Daniels. And so I've got another one here. This is another lucky dip, and it's a parlophone, and it's a laminated Australian pressing, so I'm hoping it's going to be reasonable sonics. And 2 recordings here of the Benny Goodman sextet, actually, and it also features Count Basie, so I thought it'd be good to play this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the 2 titles, and you tell me what you'd like to hear. One's on the Alamo, and the other side is Gone with What Draft. That's the name of
I
that.
don't know either of them, so let's go the second one.
Okay, Gone with What Draft. It's
Yeah.
it's a composition by Benny Goodman. It says his name in brackets underneath. So, but apparently this features Count Basie. So we'll have a listen, see what
Not very
happens.
often you hear them together.
No, that's right. Well, they both had very sort of independent careers, but here
They're
we
both so successful, they're sort of very immersed in their careers.
That's it, most definitely. Yeah, let's have a listen. Benny Goodman and the Sextet, featuring Count Basie as a special guest, and that's from the Swing Series in 1941, and released on Parlophone. So
Very good.
yeah, it's a great track, wasn't it? Very
yeah.
upbeat, and excellent musicians, I imagine. Well, Teddy Wilson was probably not playing if Count Basie was playing. Charlie Christian maybe and Gene Krupa,
Krupa probably, yeah.
and maybe Lionel Hampton there. Oh, was there a vibe player on that? I don't think there was, actually.
I don't think so.
No, there wasn't. So, yeah. So, that's a bit of wartime fare, I suppose, 1941, and we're just sampling 78s. as we go. Here, there's another Benny Goodman in the pile, in this particular pile, Columbia. And again, with the sextet, here we go. It's got the names on it, this one. And if I can hold it up to the dim bulb in this room, it says, Benny Goodman clarinet, Slam Stewart on the bass, and Mel Powell piano, Mike Bryan guitar, Maury Field on the drums in this case, not Mr. Krupa, and Red Norvo was the vibe player on this. So I reckon we'll have a listen to this track. Well, actually, you can pick. It's one side we've got Just One of Those Things, which is a Cole Porter song, and on the other side, Gershwin's I Got Rhythm. So I imagine this would be about 1938. What do you think?
Just one of those things.
Just one of those things. Sounds great. All right. Hopefully this will come up all right. We'll give it a go. I think we are into gear.
Very good.
Yeah, it was great.
The vibes added good sparkle.
Oh, they certainly did. It came up pretty well. I'm intrigued by the bass player who's humming while he's playing.
Yeah, that was Sam Stewart, I think.
Yeah, it's so effective, isn't it?
He does it a lot.
Yeah.
One of his mannerisms.
Okay, right. Yeah, it works really well. It just shows.
Slam Stewart, isn't it? Not Sam.
Yeah, Slam Stewart, I think. And he's obviously. It just shows that the concept's in the mind, and the hands follow, and it's sort of a living testimony to the fact that you actually think at first a microsecond ahead of the physical thing. So
No, but it's not everyone could do that, I would have thought.
it's a very special ability, really, to be.
A very good guitarist used to do it, called George Benson.
Oh, really? Okay. So he was humming along as he was playing, as he was improvising.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and totally perfectly,
In sync with himself. Yeah, it's quite mind-blowing, to be honest. It's quite, when you think of that skill, what it entails in terms of being in contact with your own, I don't know, your own actions, your own proprioceptive responses, as they say. But you speak here, please. Anyhow, that's good to indulge in a bit of Benny Goodman and his sextet, and I'm quite pleased those records have surfaced. They've risen to the top of the pile, and we might play a couple of B-sides from those tomorrow as well. I also found some carts. I was sifting around and found another box full of carts, and I haven't used the cart machine for a while, but these are, I think they came from Radio Australia, because they've got IDs on them. And they're just hits. I think they might have been kept at the transmitter site for if they had power outages or something like that, or needed to have remote functions. And anyhow, we have a very famous tune, but it's Aretha Franklin, and I Say a Little Prayer.
Oh, I love it.
It's a beautiful song. Yeah. And
you didn't do the original version,
Who did the original?
Leonie Warwick.
Oh, really? Maybe I'll look it up.
Actually written for Warwick.
Leonie Warwick.
Dione. D-I, I don't know. O-N-E, I suppose.
Sure, yeah. I'll look it up.
Warwick, as in, she calls it Warwick, but we call it Warwick.
Okay, I'm presuming this cart's going to work. I haven't even tested it. I just know the song, because it's a... what side does it go in?
Aretha takes it to a new level.
Yeah. Well, it'd be good to hear this. Right, look, we'll give this a burl, and then Dione Warwick will look her up and maybe follow on with that. We'll see how we go. I Say a Little Prayer, and it's Aretha Franklin first.
Say a little prayer for you. The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. And while I'm combing my hair now, and wondering what dress to
Oh, God, she's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's
the
not.
best.
Yeah, she's just amazing. Makes you want to see the Blues Brothers again. She's like Billie Holiday. She sings around the beat, doesn't she? She's just
does.
got that wonderful, whimsical way of just throwing it to the wind, and it's so effortless, wonderful.
She's got a wonderful way of she just sings that soul type stuff. So it's a lot of it's gospel sound.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just got such wonderful swagger's not the right word, but there's an abandon in soul singing.
Oh, yeah.
I just love. It's wonderful. Anyhow, I've found the recording of Dionne Warwick, and we'll have a listen to the original. And this is with Burt Bacharach and Hal David from 1967.
Correct.
So I imagine a few years earlier, but let's hear this one.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. Oh, I'll comb in my hair now, and wondering what dress to wear now. I say a little prayer for you. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I'll love you together, together. That's how it must be to live without you. It only means heartbreak for me. I run for the bus, dear. Oh, while riding, I think of us, dear. I say a little prayer for you. At work, I just take time, and all through my coffee break time, I say a little prayer for you. Forever, forever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I'll love you together, together. That's how it must be to live without you. Would only mean heartbreak for me. I say a little prayer for you. I say a little prayer for you. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I'll love you together, together. That's how it must be to live without you. Would only mean heartbreak for me. My darling, believe me, for me there is no one but you. Please love me too. I'm in love with you. Answer my prayer. Say you love me too. Why don't you answer my prayer? You know every day I say a little prayer. I say a little prayer.
Oh, great arrangement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fabulous. Oh, I'm really grateful for you being introduced to that. Thank you for that. It's great to hear the original. And I like her octave displacements. She's sort of got this interesting way of switching registers.
She does.
Yeah, it's quite characterful. So nice to hear her brand of that piece, which I've always...
She's good, but I'd have to say I prefer Aretha.
Yeah. I think Aretha's sort of in a class of her own, but it's lovely to hear it in different presentations.
Absolutely.
Yay! So that's good. Oh well, I'll have to keep sifting through these carts and see what else there is.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's sort of about 20 different versions of Waltzing Matilda and the ABC News theme and the whole lot of stuff. These all came from Brian Cox. So anyhow, we'll go through them and see what's there. But there's yes, a lot of carts. I'm pleased to I've got to give these carts a bit of a run. Yeah, but anyhow, looking at the clock, I'm on dinner duty tonight, so I will need to go and get things. We're doing ravioli or something. I've got to get that going. And
look, the only thing is,
yeah,
you said you'd play Kate.
Yes, I've got it here, ready to play. And I thought I'd play that now, and then it's sort of a bit of a travesty to follow it on with an episode of the Thunderbirds, but we'll just have to do that. And this is a short piece that Kate recorded yesterday. We played it at the very end of the missions last night.
It's beautiful.
But it was about 2:15 last night.
Wow.
So I don't think that many people were up that late listening. But... Kate's on a sort of project where she wants to record something each week, and we thought just for some performance pressure, in inverted commas, we'd sort of present them on the program here. She's doing a lot of practice at the moment, and she did the flute at uni years and years ago, decades ago, but has come back to it. And is practicing hours a day, and it's all sort of coming to the fore. It's really lovely to hear the music.
Certainly is.
And so, yes, this is the fruits of quite many hours of work, and we'll continue as long as it seems to work. We'll continue making these little micro recordings, and I might get into the act at some stage as well and see what happens. But it's nice to have some live music. So, here's a recording from yesterday afternoon, and we'll follow on with an episode of the Thunderbirds. It's the music of C.P. Bach. It's the fast movement from, I can't remember what sonata it is, but it doesn't really matter. So,
before you go, I'm sorry to interrupt. I a doubtful starter for tomorrow. I think we're going to have a FaceTime.
Oh, great. Oh, it sounds like you'll have a nice time with your family. That's fine. No worries, no problems at all.
I can't really choose the time that these things happen.
No. Just go with the flow. There's no compulsion whatsoever. These are just sort of happenings, and that's all fine. And I've got some more rock and roll stuff for us to delve into at some future point as well.
Excellent.
So that'll be good fun. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, we'll catch you soon, and we'll continue now with a recording that Kate made yesterday afternoon.
Q3JR clear.
Yep, and this is vk3sl, and we'll follow on with that announcement with an episode of the Thunderbirds, perhaps with a pregnant pause beforehand. vk3sl.
4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.